everything changed.
In this edition of In the Spotlight, we sat down with Namibia's leading filmmakers. Please welcome in studio with me Florian Schott, director, co-writer and producer of Baxu and the Giants. Welcome, Florian. Can you give us a quick synopsis, please?
Baxu and the Giants is the story of an 8-year-old girl growing up in a village in Dammerland in relative poverty. And she has quite a sort of like, for herself, quite a good life with living with her brother and her alcoholic grandmother. But then she discovers at some point that something changes in the village, some strange men show up at some point, her brother starts acting suspicious, he starts being out in the middle of the night. And so she decides to investigate and finds out that her brother got into rhino poaching. And then she has to make that decision if she stays quiet, if she doesn't say anything, or if she actually tries to do something about it and risk losing her family.
So is there a reason why you chose to make a short film instead of a feature film?
With the budget that we had available, we really had the choice between making a great short film or a so-so feature film. And the second reason is that we felt that, especially because the film is for the youth, for kids, for teenagers, with the attention span of young people nowadays, it's really sort of like you can condense a story like that in 30 minutes, and you can actually tell a story that is compelling in that short form. You can show it in schools, in between, like in one lesson.
Baxu and the Giants does have a strong message, right?
Yes. We should be able to tell the stories in exactly the amount of time that is required to tell the story compellingly. Having our film aimed at children from 6-7 years on, it's sort of like a lot easier to sort of like keep them entertained for half an hour and sort of like not only entertained but then also sort of like opening their hearts and sort of their minds, hopefully.
What is your advice that you would give to these young filmmakers or theatre makers when it comes to telling your stories?
I think the most important thing for young filmmakers, scriptwriters, theatre makers is probably to really do something that one really cares about and one is really passionate about. The only way that you can get through and not only get funding for your film, but also really sort of like to break out, is doing something that you strongly believe in, that has your own voice. And one shouldn't be afraid to be weird and be out of the ordinary and experiment, because I think that's the kind of content, both in film as in theatre, that will be seen and that will be recognized. If I am really passionate about a story, I will find people that are just as passionate as me about that.
I want to talk about the movie title, Baxu and the Giants.
I always felt like if we're doing a film that is out of the view of a young girl, the Giants part to describe rhinos is really sort of like a fitting thing, also sort of like to show that it's a film that is for children and teenagers. The name Baxu was quite a long find, because we were looking at a lot of like Damara words and really sort of like seeing like how can we represent the characters in the best way possible in the character names. And then we found through a lot of looking and searching that Baxu means actually I come from the soil. And for this little girl that's so grounded in nature and grounded in her heritage, that it was a fitting name.
And what an unforgettable name it will be, because the film, if I stand corrected, has won multiple awards.
It's great for the crew and for people to be recognized for the incredible work they put into the film. I'm just really happy that people do connect with the film, and especially also like in the screenings, no matter where we show it, be it in the USA, in South Africa, in Namibia, people react very strongly to it and very emotional to it. And no matter where you are in the world, people connect with Baxu, with that character, and I think that's something that speaks to the sort of like the universality of the film.
You made sure that there was a variety of languages in the film. What brought you to that choice?
The realism of it. On the one hand, you want to make a film that's accessible, but at the same time, realistically, this story taking place in northwest Namibia, it would be realistic for most people in the village to speak Kwekwe.
We all know that Baxu and the Giants has a conservation message behind it. How can Namibians get involved?
So very early on we approached the MET, the Save the Rhino Trust. They're very helpful. They're helping us now with screenings around the country. If you check our website, baxuandthegiants.com, we have a couple of links to organizations that one can help, can one donate to, like the Save the Rhino Trust. We've been also organizing a couple of screenings, like we had a screening in Windhoek, which was actually free, but all the donations would go to the Save the Rhino Trust, and we collected $11,000. We're trying sort of like to, in all the places that we go to, raise that issue and also sort of like direct the people to our website so that they can actually inform themselves a bit more than what the film shows already. And at the same time also to possibly help and possibly donate to one of these organizations that really do a lot in the fight against rhino poaching.